What do you care about? We're all passionate about so many different things, and sometimes the big problems in the world can make us feel like there's not that much we can do as individuals to impact them. So this year we're going to be talking about how our choices, habits, actions and decisions and the way that we live our lives can have a positive impact on the people around us and the environment. Chad living isn't about having all the answers, it's about asking the difficult questions together so that we can work out how to be followers of Jesus in the 21st century with all of the environmental issues that we're facing today.
Choices. Life is a series of choices, and even our really small choices can make a big statement about the sort of presence we want to be in the world. What we say, what we do, what we buy, how we treat the people and the world around us, all has an impact far beyond ourselves. As part of Chad Living, we're going to be thinking and reflecting on the sorts of choices we make and how they can help us to be the sorts of people God calls us to be.
Habits. In Jesus' day, he was able to talk about a society being a mixture of good and ill. He talked about the analogy of trees, how good trees bring good fruit and bad trees bring bad fruit. And what's true of society is also true of us as individuals, that within us there's both the capacity for good and the capacity for ill. But like trees, it takes quite a long time to build up that capacity, that habit to do something good, or indeed to take away that habit of doing something that's bad. It's rather like myself, it's taken me several years to get out of the bad habit of speeding, and that's with quite a lot of help. And indeed we've just started to try and establish another good habit of saying grace before we eat together. So taking that commitment to actually make a habit that brings about a good fruit, or indeed get rid of a habit that takes a bad fruit, is something that we're called and committed to do. And it's something that's best done not alone. If you can find friends to make that joint commitment with, to support you on the journey, then you'll be able to find that those trees that are cultivated, those habits that are nurtured to bring good fruit, can be lasting and enduring. And those habits that you want to change, you want to root out, you want to make sure there are no other shoots sprouting out of the ground, those can be worked on and taken care of, eliminated as well. So for us all, do hope that as part of Chad Living, there will be good habits bearing good fruit.
Actions. Actions can be really hard when we're all so busy, so I just want to talk about 3 quick and easy ways for us all to take some action. The first is, if you're on social media, is micro-volunteering, so just sharing an appeal or something like that on a Facebook page, or retweeting something can really help that charity. The second one is filling in a campaign. So Facebook and a lot of the action sites make it really easy to fill in a petition or a campaign and then to share that with your friends, and that only takes 2-3 minutes normally. The third one is if you've got more time, and there's lots of brilliant charities and church projects out there that could really do with help. So it's looking at what's available in your area and getting involved in that. And that's 3 simple ways to action.
Decisions. Sometimes we're faced with difficult decisions. We feel as though we ought to do something, but then in order to do that something, we're going to have to sacrifice something as well. But these decisions can sometimes be the most important ones. In fact, they can be the best decisions that we can make for our lives, changing it for the better. But that also means that we're hesitant to make them because there are so many what-ifs to consider. But as Christians, we believe that despite the what-ifs, the hesitations and the fear of change, any decisions we prayerfully make to follow God will be worth it, not just for us, but for the world around us as well.
Chad Living is about the choices and the habits and the actions and the decisions that we make, which affect the way that we live our lives. Being Christians, being people who follow Christ, is all about the way that we live our lives. Jesus said, "I've come that you might have abundant life." But those choices and habits and actions and decisions, they affect us, but they also affect other people. And what good is it if others suffer so that we can have abundant life? In this series of Chad Living videos that we're going to be producing and releasing, and the discussions that we're going to be having around that, it's all going to be helping us to think about how we can live our lives to follow Christ, but also to love our neighbour, to love our world.
Come follow Christ in the footsteps of St. Chad, who was a 7th century saint who was able to be bishop here in this part of England, and able to, through humility and a great desire to share the good news with others, live a life that was sensitive to the environment, that was of care and concern for those who are vulnerable, that was able to show forth the very ethics of his Saviour and ours, Jesus Christ. So we do pray that as you find different ways to transform your life, to be part of Chad Living, you will find ways in which you are able to reflect those same values. And we want to work with you, so if there's any topics that you'd like us to include and cover, then let us know, and together we will live in a way that reflects the virtue of our Saviour.